A few weeks ago, I decided that I want to start waking up at 4 a.m. every day. And I have been doing that almost every day now. Sometimes I do wake up at 5, but overall between 4 and 4:30. The last few days I have been very consistent with waking up at 4, and I'm trying to wake up a little bit before 4 a.m. so like 3:30 or 15 minutes before 4 a.m. so I can get my morning routine quickly over with and start working at 4 immediately. And I want to talk about my experience and why I do that. And yeah, so for me personally, I can get the most work done in the morning. It's the time where I can focus the most and I have the most energy. And the last few months, I have been delaying a lot of work, and now a while ago I realized the urgency to get it done, because there are two things that will determine a lot for me for the next year, and I decided to really focus and lock in to make sure that I get those two things done. And I need a few weeks to get it done, but I think if I stick to this routine that I will be able to make it. And yeah, so I wake up at 4 and I have like a short morning routine and start working immediately. I work on my project and then I study, because I have an exam coming up that is really important. And yes, so for me, if I am struggling with being productive, in if I'm struggling with consistency and productivity with a certain habit or project or whatever, I try to move it to the morning. So I do it the first thing in the morning, and that way I make sure that I will do the work. I have been waking up early before, it's just not that early, and I used to wake up at 5 a.m. so I can read. That was a long time ago. I started doing that because I wanted to build the habit of reading. I did not like reading that much, or more, it was really difficult for me to get myself to start reading. So I would wake up early and read as much as possible, and now I can read without doing it the first thing in the morning. And there were times where I would wake up at 5 a.m. just so I can draw or pursue a hobby that I didn't have time for throughout the day, or the energy left at the end of the day. But now that I need a lot of focus and willpower to get my work done, I have decided to do it the first thing in the morning, and it really makes me aware of how important it is. I don't know, like for me that is really helpful, because when I wake up at 4 a.m. I have a clear intention, and I do not do some kind of work that makes me feel like I am being productive. So a lot of times I used to watch self-improvement or educational videos, and I would tell myself like I have done something. But when I wake up at that time, I am more honest with myself, because I do have to look back and think of the stuff that I did, and if I didn't get a step closer, then what else did I do? And to watch that type of content doesn't require that much focus and energy as actually doing the work. So I still watch the content that I enjoy. It's just that I do it at a different time, where I have less focus and less energy, and I use my the first few hours of the day to do the most productive things. So yeah, for me personally, it wasn't as difficult as I thought it would be. And when someone finds out that I wake up at that time, I don't really like telling it to people because I don't know, it's weird. But if I wake up at 4 a.m., no, what I want, I don't find it as difficult as I thought it would be, because I wasn't waking up that late before. If I would be waking up at 8 a.m., I would slowly work my way up to 4 and not go from 8 to 4. The first few days were challenging, but if you go to sleep early, it's not that difficult. However, even if you go to sleep early, you still have to get used to changing your sleep schedule. But the most challenging thing is putting your phone away and sleeping at 8 p.m. and getting up. But getting up, once you get up, you forget that you're tired, and basically it's just a small obstacle that you have to overcome is getting up. And when you get up, you already have a sense of achievement because you've overcame an obstacle by getting up at that time, especially in the first few days. For me personally now, because I am more used to it, I'm happy about being consistent because it doesn't take that much willpower for me to get up at 4. And yeah, in my experience, I am less tired, and I have noticed that I drink less coffee. I mean, I have to stop drinking coffee at 12, and by 12, because if I don't, then I can't fall asleep really early. But I don't feel like drinking that much coffee. I am less tired than I usually am, but that is like just my personal experience. So of course, if you do not go to sleep early, you will be sleep deprived. You cannot go to sleep at 10 and wake up at 4 and expect not to be tired. So be consistent with your sleep schedule, sleep at the same time and wake up at the same time every day. So, and in the beginning it's not gonna be that easy, but you will get used to it soon. And what I like about waking up early is how peaceful it is, especially if you live in a crowded area or in a city. When you wake up in the morning, it's really quiet, and when I look outside, everything is dark, nobody is up, or not that many people. And I don't know, I find that to be very calm and peaceful. If you do not make excuses and you stay consistent, it's gonna be very sustainable to hold that kind of routine. And I mean, you don't need to do it. I personally am doing it for a few weeks and maybe months, and then I would go back to 6 a.m. or 5. But I think that it is useful when you have something that you really need to get done but don't find that much energy for, or something that is difficult and takes a lot of willpower. I used to work out first thing in the morning because I knew if I do not work out in the morning, I won't do it at all. And that helped me build up discipline to work out without having to do it the first thing in the morning. And if I don't have time to do something, so when I was at school, I would wake up early so I can draw because I didn't have a lot of time for my hobbies. And yeah, you can decide whatever it is that you want to do with that time. You can just wake up an hour earlier. So let's say you wake up at 6, you can start waking up at 5 and not really work, just have a longer morning routine that helps you feel better. Whatever it is that you want to do, I found that waking up early is way better than waking up later and going to sleep later, because at the end of the day, by 6 p.m., you normally are tired after you have been to school or work, and most of the things that one does is scroll through TikTok, social media. A lot of the work is unfocused work, and um, you know, most of the time, I mean, for me personally, it's just time wasted on social media. So if I go to sleep 2 hours earlier and wake up 2 hours earlier than usual, then it is better for me to be. It is personally better for me since I will be able to use that time more efficiently. And yes, I think something that I read in the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, he explains the concept of paying yourself first. In the book, he's talking about money, but I think that paying yourself first with investing your time and energy into a personal project or just into yourself to make yourself feel better by having a morning routine where you journal, meditate, or do something that makes you happy, um, really makes you feel more important to yourself. Because I mean, we all wake up early for school or work, so why not wake up earlier for ourselves?